What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Impel Forward Podcast. I'm your host, Leon. That's my co-host, Renee. And that's Larry, the modified
Was
gentleman.
good, was good.
The
What's
modified
going on?
gentleman. Check him out too. Dope.
Please do, please do.
What's going on? What's
We
up with
got a
y'all
lot of
today? What's
topics.
going on? Yeah,
We
we
got
do.
Yeah.
Fun.
a lot of topics. How was you guys' day? Let's start off with that. Let's do a
Mine was
mental
busy.
health check.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to keep it a secret, but I ain't gonna keep it no secret no more. Moving both shops into one, combining them into one. So
Oh, yeah.
been cleaning today.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've been going through the last couple weeks.
There's a big change, bro.
It
Yeah.
is, man.
Yeah.
Lease negotiations, going back and forth,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
trying to see who's coming to the shop, who's not coming to the shop,
Mhm.
all that, fixing it up.
Are you changing the name or is it still going to be Impel?
No, it's still in Pell.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still in
Mhm.
Pell.
Yeah.
They ain't getting
I was
stuff
just
right.
telling him earlier, now he got to change the address on all his information, on all
Yeah,
his
that's
contact,
all that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
all his mail and
Mhm.
everything. Even though it's only like 2 doors down, but
Yeah.
you still
For
got to change
sure.
everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo,
That's
and you're
annoying
going to
as
have to
hell.
get like some sort of big balloon situation because you got some competitors in the promenade.
Well, they're
It's
not
3
competitors.
other
They
joints over
they
there.
they don't cut us.
They may not cut you, but
We
they cut
cut it.
someone.
No, I'm talking about.
I know,
right,
but
you
you
know.
have a very diverse clientele.
Yeah, I'm saying we cut everybody, so it really don't.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
I'm just saying I never seen such a big, display for a barbershop before
Right. Oh yeah.
in a parking lot.
Oh, you talking about the balloon thing?
They got the inflatable dancing balloon guy out there.
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
big. Why is it so big?
Yo, I was like, I had to look at that joint a couple times. I was like, for real? All right, bet.
Yeah, they trying to draw some attention. It's good.
I mean, it's definitely drawing attention. You just don't know for who. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
It's wild.
How was your day?
my day was long. It's always long.
It's
Working
Monday.
in corporate America, it's always gonna be long. It's
Yeah,
never a dull moment.
for sure,
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah, mine was like that too.
Yours is
Ready for it to be over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Take a break. Yeah, I feel you.
Hopefully this week will go by fast. There's no holiday. I mean, like, no day
Today,
off.
that's
Or
not it.
today like St. Patrick's Day or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I didn't even like comprehend when I was talking to some of my peers at work. She had on all of this green and everything, and not once did I even like. No,
right. It didn't dawn on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No.
didn't know either till my daughter told me on the way to school. I was like, dang, I said, shoot, don't mind do
Look,
it
I
no
think
more.
it skips past you the older you get because it's not one of those like when you're in school, right? Because everybody's like,
Right.
we're green for St. Patty's Day, or if you
Yeah.
drink beer and you do all that other stuff, then you remember it, right? And of course, if you're Irish, right? But I
Oh,
think
yeah.
the older you get, if it doesn't warrant or provide a day of rest from the workplace, it's just another
Right.
day.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is the effects of COVID and the lockdown because
True.
every day was Groundhog's Day, and people was not
True.
gathering around to do stuff. And now we're just not getting back to a return to work culture, return to the office culture where people are
Right.
mingling again.
Right.
So, I mean, I think we kind of at that little transition of trying to go back to, okay, how things were pre-COVID.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of COVID, a lot of things happened during COVID, right? We had, Breonna Taylor and all of those things. We had George Floyd, which we were able to witness such a horrible act from a police officer, right? And many more happened throughout the course of that year, which kind of segue into a lot of companies and businesses wanting to stand by us in solidarity, right? And so that's when the Black Lives Matter movement really, it's always been there, but it was more on full display in 2020, right? All of those things happened. And companies were, there were flags in people's yards and people were, celebrating, and they wanted everybody to want to be inclusive, and companies were making, pacts and, adopting change, and DEI became big, right? I think I even took a DEI course during that time frame that was offered through a college.
Yeah.
Then you see in DC, they go big, right? With a whole mural.
Oh,
with
yeah.
a mural
With the road. Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
street, right?
Yeah.
The BLM mural, which we thought was fantastic. You would think it would have been in Minnesota, but they did other murals in response to George Floyd, and rightfully so, right? But they had this huge BLM mural on the grounds near the White House, right? I believe it was, I didn't get a chance to see it in person. I don't know if either one of you guys got a chance to see it.
I haven't, but I wish I had. But
right,
no, I didn't see it.
right?
I wish I had.
Right,
Yeah.
which is so big right now, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? You know
whole
what?
block.
We went to DC. I didn't even think to go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's too late now, though.
Well, yeah, it's too late now. Yeah,
Now it's too late.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
covering it up. They've covered it up. I'm pretty sure they move
it's
fast,
done.
right? Just as fast as
done.
they put it down. And what took them 2 days to put it down, I'm sure it's now gone.
They already.
Yeah,
You feel that's just some of
he's
the.
doing a lot.
I mean, with everything going on, right? I feel like he's doing everything else but promise what he initially promised during his run.
He's
promised
doing
it to some
too
people.
much. Yeah.
I mean,
made
he
a lot of
promised it in
promises
so
to
many
people.
words, right? In Project 2025, but I'm just saying, like, he promised the lower the prices of groceries. He, promised no tax on OT, and that just, does nothing really. You just won't get OT, or you get taxed on OT. You end up owing more at the end. You're going to pay it back regardless, right?
Yeah.
That's money you didn't pay taxes on.
One way or the other. Yeah.
One way or the other. So, do you feel like it's a response like his response, or do you feel like it's people telling him this needs to be done and he's just in agreement? Because I just don't feel like this man, this 80-something-year-old man, will really worry about that Black Lives Matter mural on the street without somebody in his ear telling him we need to get rid of this.
Yeah. 100%. Remember, we on one of the shows we did a while back, and I said Trump is an opportunist. I don't see him being devout racist, but he definitely is an opportunist. At some point, there may be an opportunity that causes him to toe that line.
Is he allowing racists to benefit from him being? Is he,
I mean, a lot of his base, they either about the money or they're about the power, shit, or both, and it's a lot of things that they want to keep in place.
He has a lot of white supremacists on his team. Yeah,
a lot. And they're all about maintaining power from their perspective,
right?
To keep it clean. Yeah. 100%.
Why are they so worried about Black people in particular? Have you noticed it's mainly directed at Black people? It's almost like
I say this all the time.
They are worried of being, wiped out, like non-existent anymore. So
I say it all the time. It's because we're not supposed to be here.
Huh?
I say this all the time. It's because we're not supposed to be here.
Right.
That's why.
What you mean we're not supposed to be here as far as what? In America?
Like, yeah, a lot of that too. And trust me, I'm not talking about when people say, oh, well, Black people were here before slavery and all this and that. That's a whole other can of worms. But I'm talking about when it comes down to building America, like Black people specifically were
not in the blueprint
to come here. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, okay, look at modern day now. And you can take other ethnic groups and other races who voluntarily or willfully migrate here. Like they come here with a plan. They come here because whatever their home country is has or the worst conditions, non-livable conditions. It's either famine or it's dangerous or whatever the conditions are. They come to America for a better chance, right? We didn't have the option. We didn't come here with a plan. We weren't supposed to be here. But we're here now, and we're just trying to figure it out. We're still looking for a plan. That's what I'm saying. Like, that hasn't changed for us.
Are we still looking for a plan? Or some people they've executed their plan. They've been able to, benefit from their very humble beginnings and make it into something better. So could it be partly
humble beginnings?
Some Black people had some very humble beginnings.
You said
right?
some white people or some Black people?
Some Black people.
Yeah.
Had some,
when you say their humble beginnings, though.
Their humble beginnings, and to make it into something, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying,
like, partly is there some jealousy behind it? Because they are noticing that Black people are, a lot of them are more successful in their right.
Again, and this is another thing that I always go back to, is the fact that there are certain white families, and I specifically mean that there are certain white families that wake up every day, every morning, and they tell their children that they are superior. Like, it's not a joke. Like, it's real deal. I see it at my kids' elementary school. It's real deal. But for us, as our culture and Black Americans, we don't think that way, And so that's a constant external attack on us. And we don't think about it, but it's happening. Like, it is always happening. And I don't think it's a jealousy thing. Well, jealousy plays into it in some parts, but it's more of a maintaining control and not being outnumbered, because that was a lot of issues when it came through with the abortion bans. That was one of the things they didn't want.
They didn't want to no longer become the minority. They saw themselves.
Exactly. They didn't want themselves to become the minority type.
How big of a gap is it? I don't know if you want to do percentage wise, as far as
that's tough call. That's a tough call, because if you talk about white America, then you talk about everybody else. You know what I mean?
So they're basing off blacks, or blacks and other races against whites.
But this is another bad thing too, because Black people, there's small percentages of Black people, but their numbers get thrown into the bigger bunch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a problem, because it's like you take a small portion of the Black population, but they get hyperinflated to take up the whole population. They're like, 1 in 5 Black people are doing this, that, and the third. And it's like those numbers are off, man. So, but also who's doing the surveys? You know what I mean? So it ain't us.
It's not like everybody opening the door for the Census Bureau either that's going around. So you really just never know the house. Do you think that they did not foresee Black people ever becoming billionaires, millionaires, or wealthy at all?
Man. We weren't even supposed to read books.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see that.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to read books. That was not the plan.
That's where I see some of the issues taken apart, right? If you notice, when they talk about even the Black woman, right? We are the most highest, mostly highest educated women are Black women, right? I mean, the percentages are there. The statistics are there. I don't even think white women knew that this would even happen. Why? Because we know that when we apply for a job, right, that we have to make sure all the boxes are checked. We have been told all the boxes have to be checked when other minorities, or white women, even white men, they can check 1 or 2 boxes and still will possibly get the job. When we're fighting,
they have to do an application,
right?
Yeah. Some of them can just skip the whole application process.
Now, did y'all? I don't know if y'all put the clip in the group chat, or I seen it somewhere else when Trump was. It was years ago when he was talking about how smart Black people were.
I saw that. I put that in there. Yeah.
So, and I'm listening to him talk about that, and I don't know. It seemed like, was he kind of warning? Was it a warning, or was he bragging? Not bragging, but giving us props. Or was it a warning? Like, okay, they're smart. They're real smart.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a warning to people. Even if he was like bragging about it or just bringing that up, it was still a warning for people in his in his community and the people that he hang around, right? Like get it
Yeah.
together. There,
yeah. You better watch out.
That's why I was kind of looking at it.
You better watch out.
Yeah. Because I mean, to be honest with you,
to the issue with RFK Jr. I know people really like him and he seems great. Again, he's part of that cabinet where he feels that Black people have a different immune system than white people. And we don't deserve the treatments or the what Leon would call the jabs or some of the medicine that would be offered to other people because our immune systems are stronger. There's I don't know where he's received that information. I looked, all night trying to figure that out. And it goes back to the vaccines, right?
Word of mouth.
Now kids are dying. Kids are dying from the measles for not being vaccinated.
Right. Yeah.
I think parents should be going to jail.
Yeah.
I think parents should go to jail. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care. You're putting everybody at risk. Your kid is putting everybody at risk.
But the whole vaccine
conversation. Leon, if you chose to not get your kids vaccinated, right? They have measles, or you feel like they just have a common cold, or maybe an allergy, or whatever. You send them to school. He infects the classroom. One person dies. How would you feel?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The vaccine thing is it's a little touchy because vaccines has been around forever. It's a lot of people who don't necessarily don't believe in vaccines, but they're kind of like they want healthy vaccines, or they want the schedule not to be so close with a kid coming out. I think it's hepatitis B vaccine? I think I might be wrong, but it's one of the vaccines is for sexy, active people or people who have blood transfusion and stuff like that. And the question they asked me is, why does a baby need that when they're coming out? So I don't know.
Do you think that non-vaccinated kids should have their own school?
That's crazy.
Nah. That'd be a lot. Did somebody say something about that?
No, I'm just bringing it up because it's like you're putting other kids at risk by mixing them all together. So why not, if you want to keep everybody, because they have a weakened immune system. Let's be honest.
I think I tend to lean that they should spread the vaccines out instead of giving so many at one time when they're born.
Back to back.
Yeah.
They try
but I like to knock things out. Like knock it out. I don't want to keep coming back.
But you put a lot.
You can't do that though. You can't.
you put a lot of stuff in.
I know.
That's a lot.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. But for parents who absolutely don't believe in it, and these poor kids in Texas and all over have been passing away, or they're infecting other non-vaccinated kids, right?
I mean, at some point,
kids, but the vaccinated kids aren't dying. They're, getting better, going back to school. But it's still, to me, it's just a revolving door.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, there has to be some type of, I guess you could say, legal consequences as far as that, because there are certain vaccines that have been proven to have a high efficacy rate, like they actually work. Like this is why society needs it. But if you as a parent, it's like I refuse that. If you as a parent refuse that for your child, then that should be a red flag. Hey, government had to step in, like the state CPS gonna have to step in and make a call here because you are putting your child at risk, and the child doesn't know any better because it's a child. The child is collateral. The child is innocent. But there are parents out there that continuously do that, seriously. But that's that's I hate to say it, but it's still gray areas, because some people are like, oh yeah, we're all for it. And some people are like, whoa, slow down. We don't know what they're giving us type of thing. And the Black community
to me, if I don't want my kids to be vaccinated, right, I would possibly homeschool them.
Yeah, you would have to make a lot of other changes. Have to.
I don't know if I would want them mixing with the general population because they're always going to be sick.
Well, that's one way to toughen up the immune
system.
But
But if your kid is vaccinated, it should be good.
Yeah, but I mean, like the common cold, right?
Yeah.
The common cold or something may look different from a kid who isn't vaccinated or hasn't had those things, right? It can lead to other things.
I thought you said if her kid was vaccinated, she wouldn't want them around unvaccinated kids.
I'm saying I probably wouldn't.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if they vaccinated, they should be straight.
You would think, but a kid just died, right?
Yeah.
But
So,
you know,
wait.
the kid that died.
Was it a vaccinated?
The kid that wasn't vaccinated passed away.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. I understand that part. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I know that I'm not going to vaccinate my kids and I, for whatever reason, I feel strongly behind it, I don't know. I may, want to homeschool that kid or something. I know it doesn't build their immune system and they need to be around others or, I don't know. But for that situation and for the father to come back and say he would do it all again, kids would just have to die. Alive.
That's horrible.
That's like he needs to go to jail.
There's a huge fail on parenting 100%, Like if you don't get your child vaccinated, but you put your child in the environment where they could be susceptible to everything on purpose. If you're not gonna keep your child out of the environment, homeschool your child because you don't want to get them vaccinated, then red flag. You need to be looked at. You need to be investigated. For sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like the dad didn't even care. He was just like, this is a part of life. Your kid didn't even get a chance to experience life.
There's a lot of parents out here that don't like their kids, man. I'm gonna be honest. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of parents. I've seen them. They horrible.
That's crazy. That is. I'm telling you. Speaking of, kind of some of the things dealing with the government, the back and forth, the switching, the rehiring of federal employees after being gone for 2 weeks.
Oops, our bad. Yeah. Yeah.
What type of email do you receive? What type of email do they send out?
So
report.
So they rehired everybody.
They had to rehire 24,000 employees.
That's crazy.
Like, what does that email look like? I'm glad you had a vacation.
I heard they're gonna get back pay too for that too.
Yeah. So are we really saving money? Are we really saving money?
We are not.
Because you got to bring them all back. They were part of the, the dollar amount they were part of the waste.
Because when you look at it, what's the point of saying, okay, we're gonna. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I lost connection for a minute. You there?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what I was saying was like, what's the point of saying we're gonna shrink the government and you lay off 2,400 people,
24,000
to save money, and you 24,000 people, and you promote that, we saved this much money because we shrunk this much of the government or departments or whatever. And then like whichever time later, you got to rehire them back. You're not saving any money. Matter of fact, you're costing double.
Right.
Double that money.
Yeah.
And so, if you really think about it, and time, right? So they were probably working on a project. They were probably doing something. They've been at home for 2 weeks, some people 3 weeks, right? Some people a month, right? So you're giving them back pay. Then they have to go back and start all over and put in time on something that probably could have been completed within that month and moved on to their next, project or pipeline or whatever they have. So not only is it a waste of money, it's a waste of time. Now you wasting my time.
Look, I got it. Every job has that least efficient person or two.
Right.
I got it. But you don't fire the whole staff, yo. You don't just lock the doors and tell people, hey, we're gonna be closed tomorrow. You can't come in.
Now, was
there's
there,
so many.
I'm trying to figure out how was that able to happen?
It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. It should not have had.
Because at first it was, we're giving this person the authority to do this. Then the next minute it's like he's there to advise, and you can take it as for advice. But with so much confusion around, they still want to please the master, right?
Nobody
so it's like, he said, we should let go 30, 1,500 people. This government agency, even though he's saying he's advising you, you don't have to take his, take his word for it or what he says you should do. But then he's not giving them any different direction, and they don't want to be on his bad side. So they're like, okay, well, we just gonna let the full 1,500 people go. Not to think like, okay, well, why don't we look at, their performances? Who's the bottom performer? Who's the top? Who's the steady Eddie? Who's just going and then work it out like that? They were just like, we just going. Elon said 1,500, so we're gonna let the full 1,500 go. Now you got to come back and be like, I'm sorry.
We need y'all to come back because we know you had important jobs.
So who's running
the engineers, man?
So who's running the country?
Working on our safety.
Who's running the country, Elon or Trump?
Elon.
Well, it's Elon, man.
I think it's Elon. Speaking of Elon and running the country, I'm just shout out to people who got their job back. Like y'all won.
Oh, yeah,
and let's 100%. Not forget the Democrats been winning in court. They not very loud online and they look in disarray, but they are the reason that some of these 24,000 people got their jobs back. So let's not for real. Democrats, they got to get on the same page right now. They're in disarray. They're in disarray, but they're winning in court. I mean, 24,000 people, you got your job back. Y'all better look at who you should vote next time. But anyway, speaking of Elon's been going through it, right? His stock is tumbling.
How much can the richest man in the world really go?
I just feel like he's losing. He lost major contracts with his Starlinks over in Europe and everywhere, right? They're
I think Canada too. I think Canada.
That was billions. That was billions.
Canada was like, yo, we ain't feeling your Teslas either. Like, we're gonna tariff those. Yeah,
we're not. We don't want any of your Teslas. Everybody's going with a different brand. Teslas have tanked in stock. People are going around damaging the Teslas even more.
Taking a hit.
Yeah, they have dropped.
Well, they're protesting all the factories too.
Oh, they're protesting all the factories. Yeah. They're damaging all the cars. People that got Teslas and Cybertrucks are embarrassed to drive. I parked at a store, Wegmans, yesterday. Someone parked next to me getting in a Tesla. You could tell they were so embarrassed, like they put their head down, shut the door, and started walking fast into the building. I looked up. They looked at me, head down.
Now, it's some people still proudly driving them, though.
It's a lot of people still proudly driving them. They're not worth anything. So it's like, what do you do with them? What do you do with them? People who paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for that Cybertruck. What are you going to do with it when it's probably worth 35, 40,000 now?
Yeah, market value.
Somebody had mentioned
immensely.
Somebody mentioned, like, the storms is coming. I'm not going to say nothing. But the storms is coming. And you know what happens when the storms come? The storms damage cars. Alabama and Kentucky had major hailstorms and stuff yesterday. Somebody announced, like, hey, Tesla owners.
They had tornadoes too. Yeah.
Do what you want to do. They was telling them, somebody was like, leave them in a field. Leave them in an abandoned field. They get hit.
It's not good to have your whole roof is glass in a hailstorm. And they ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Tesla stock?
They were telling this. I saw somebody post and said, hey, you know where to park it at Crabtree Mall. When it was raining really hard, it floods at Crabtree in the parking area. People was like, going, you know what to do.
It said Tesla stock dropped for the ninth straight week.
What's the price point? The market value?
What it is now?
Yeah.
Right now it's 238.
That's about how much there was when they did they stock split.
It's so many investors tied to that. I mean, look at Target. Target still dropped. Target ain't recovered since.
True. But when you look at a lot of those major brands and just stock market wise and investing, they're too large to ignore. So you really have to be in touch. You really, really have to be in touch with what does this mean to me morally or financially. And a lot of people are really at that crossroads right now.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset. But let's be honest, a lot of the people that live in red states that voted for Trump can't even afford a Tesla.
True. Very true.
It depends on, I guess, well,
That's a hard fact.
They did drop the prices, but still, can people really afford the what? They dropped
No.
them. What? When we say Tesla, are you talking about the?
They were leasing them. I mean, they dropped them at Hertz for like 16,000. But then again, you need chargers, right?
Yeah.
Not all the chargers been working. They don't work in the snow when it's super cold outside. You're stranded. Majority of the chargers don't work.
Just saying, like it's a lot of
trouble. I find it weird between like Trump and Elon's base. Like Elon's base, you know, electric vehicles, and Trump's base is Ford F-150s. So
right,
they
which
have
is crazy because Elon, base. But his base was California, which is a blue state.
Yeah.
Right. So and now people in the blue states fund red states. Let's be honest. Most billionaires, millionaires, wealthy people live in blue states. They're the ones who take care of red states. Our state, Kentucky, Trump's, you know, the people who voted for Trump.
Okay. Yeah.
California, you know, the home of Tesla. You go to California, you see Teslas on, you know, everywhere you go, right? Because they were made there, right? People aren't doing that. People are like, you know, in the blue states, I'll just get an electric BMW. I'll get an electric Porsche. I'm not getting that. No one.
Looking at the Lucid.
Hertz was selling them for like 16,000. So maybe people in, you know, in red states can. I mean, I don't want to. We live in a red state, right? We see Cybertrucks and Teslas all the time, but again, in rural areas, people are not looking for electric cars.
Right. That's true. So
nor do they have the means to buy $100,000 Cybertruck. No.
But Trump got them at he got the Teslas at the White House.
So that was going to be my next thing. How do you feel? Because this is the first president that is promoting.
But that was wrong.
One of his cabinet, unofficial cabinet members.
That was wrong, yo.
Other business.
Can you be a walking conflict of interest? Like, are you serious? No president should actually promote any private project or product. First of all, you know, the man who sits in the highest seat should not be like, oh yeah, come buy this, come buy that. Like, what are we doing right now?
Tesla.
This is that movie, Idiocracy, coming to life right now, man. It's horrible.
We are talking about Trump.
But also, he, you know, had a golf tournament at Mar-a-Lago and charged people to be in the tournament in which he won.
Oh, I ain't even heard that.
I ain't heard about it either.
Who's today?
Of course he won.
He charged him like $1 million for dinner to enter into his tournament that he won.
When I say Trump is an opportunist, like that boy just be hustling weird, yo.
Yeah.
He got the merch.
I mean, he should be able to pay off that lady by now, right? What's her name? Stormy?
Yeah, he paid her off already. Yeah, he paid her off already. That's gone.
Yeah.
He got other debts he's trying to clear up right now.
How would you feel if Obama was, you know, when he was in the White House and he was, you know, supporting Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah, man, they jumped on Obama because he had that tan suit. I hate to see how they would treat him if he did half, a quarter of what Trump is doing. And the crazy part is, it's not even about me being black and trying to support Obama. It's just the common sense of it. Like, why is this so different than the other? Like, y'all would tear Obama apart if he did any of this stuff that Trump did.
That's like, they still mad at Biden for falling up the stairs. They still talking about him falling up the stairs on the plane. Like somebody else, the main person who was talking about him fell down the stairs, you know, the other day. But that's a whole different topic for another day. But
who's that?
And I think
I missed that one.
Yeah, he hold on. I have
but you know that Larry, what you just said, that, you know, it's Obama, Trump.
Bro.
It's a true black and white thing.
It goes back to what I was talking about Black America, man. Like this, a lot of people don't understand. Like, America has two different histories. It has white American history, and then it has everybody else. Like, for instance, like the majority of Black American history came out of the survival of white American history. You know, that's where a lot of our cultures came from, because trying to survive that one. But the other side of white history, white American history, you know, they look at it as a part of the Confederate, behind the Confederate flag is like, that's a part of where their pride comes from. And it's like, that was against what should have been happening in America. And that's the confusion about a lot of that stuff, man, that we still facing today that has not become common sense. Actually, it's common knowledge, but not common sense. Because the same people that I say, tell their kids every day that they are superior, they're the ones who support that part of the America that sees themselves at the top of the line, top of the totem pole.
Bush administration ended. So the congressman, Tommy Butterfoot, Tuberville, he fell down the steps. Getting
That's worse. I'd rather fall up the steps than falling down the steps. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Biden fell up. He fell down. Going down. He was one of the main ones who was like, every time I look at those steps, I think about Joe Biden falling up the steps, but he fell down them like like all the way down.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One thing about the Republicans, boy, they're gonna be petty. They're gonna be petty.
They always get back. For some reason, something always happens to them, but people don't see it. They look past it, right? It's the craziest thing. Just like they're excusing Elon's behavior, right? I bet you all of those people who lost their jobs, who were upset, the veterans and everything who were upset.
Yeah.
Just like, Larry said in our group chat, Trump supporters have a very short memory, right? So all those people who got their jobs back, all those veterans who, they got their jobs back, they would turn around and vote for him again, not knowing that it was the Democrats who fought and won in court to get those people their jobs back.
Yeah.
They would still turn around and vote for him again, because he's going to flip it and be like, oh, well, this was part of this was part of us, looking at all of the waste and the money and, and it warranted for you guys to get your jobs back. He would never
I always look at it as it's the trees voting for better access. And that's when you vote against your interests, your best interest. You vote against yourself. If you're a tree and you want to vote for a better axe to get yourself cut down, then by all means, go for it. But that ain't gonna be me. But they knew this was gonna happen. The signs were there. I think this is the part. That's the part that causes us, the American citizens, to be greatly even more divided. Because it's like, hey, you voted for that. I have no sympathy for you, type of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
Now it's gonna be, he got my job back better than ever.
My job better than ever. That's the part 2, baby. Yeah. Nah, I can't do it.
How do we feel about him removing the black and black women and women veterans from the Arlington National Cemetery website?
Yeah,
like
that was crazy.
Our country.
What's the point of that?
I don't understand. I think he's just doing too much. Like Larry said earlier, I think it's people in his cabinet or around him that's doing all this, and he's just going along with it.
He just signing it. He just signing the order, man.
That's crazy.
We should do it.
But again, that's how you maintain power. Like I keep saying, they playing chess over here. We over here worried about Drake and Kendrick, or we worried about Jordan versus LeBron. These dudes over here like, we gonna throw the books in the fire. They ain't gonna have no education. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get rid of all their progressive steps. Like, we're gonna take it back to like the 1900s or 1819. It's wild. It's wild. But again, like, it's a lot of people that's in Trump's ear, man. He's surrounded by a lot of yes men.
He is.
And I think that was part of his plan anyway. I think it was part of his plan to just surround himself with people who thought like that or think like that. And
he built the Supreme Court based on that. Look.
Now, okay, remember this now. His first term, he tried to kind of have that a lot, but one by one, a lot of his cabinet ended up like, this ain't for me. Because I forgot the hard general.
But now they're back and they're like, okay, like Ron DeSantis, right?
Oh, well, yeah. So when it comes to Congress, yeah, he's gonna keep the Congress and the senators. A lot of them, because they have the terms, like they're just there. They have life terms. They're not going anywhere.
That's why I don't understand why some of these congressmen and Senate people, when they're up for re-election, right? Next year in 2026. Do you think they're just being yes people now until their term ends, and then towards it's re-election season? Do you think they're going to have a change of mind of they're going to start fighting back so that they can get their constituents back on their side again?
The only thing that's going to change their mind is they have to have a lot of pull where they are currently, and it's not too many of them that are that high that can do that. And the one person that that surprisingly has done that now is Mitch McConnell. He's gone against a lot of Trump stuff because he's on his way out the door. He's not going to go back up for re-election. You know what I mean? So he's out. But the whole time he was like, yeah, Trump this, Trump that. But a lot of the younger congressmen and
congresswomen. He was the reason why Trump got pardoned.
Yeah. And the reason why a lot of Obama stuff didn't get passed through.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Now, how much stuff has Trump gotten passed? I know he
like his executive orders.
I think he's writing executive orders so that it can be flooded with it, but a lot of them are not getting passed. I don't think.
Right.
Or just like the federal agencies, people are getting let go, right? But then they're coming back because it does take the court a minute, right? Speaking of employees, recently today he announced that all of the people that Joe Biden pardoned, he's going to void it out, and they're going to be let back.
Yeah, I heard that too. You can't keep up with this video.
That was confusing. That's what confused me about these pardon things and all this, because like if you pardon somebody and you can turn it around,
saying that they're pardoned, but that's just Biden pardoned a lot of people, a lot of Black people too, that were falsely arrested. He let a lot of people go, especially in Texas. And, there were some people that, was questionable, but he let them out. I think it was if it wasn't murder, if you didn't murder somebody or, or whatever, he let a lot. How many people did he pardon? Like 65? It was the highest number out of any president before he left. He was like, so now Trump not only wants to put those people back in jail, but he wants to remove the security detail from Joe Biden's son.
Yeah.
Larry
was telling me about that.
Yeah. Whole family, his daughter too.
Whole family.
I don't understand what's the problem.
I'm telling you, it's about the power and control.
Trump,
making a statement, making a statement. Because look at it, he pardoned the people for January 6th. The insurrectionists, he pardoned them, and now he's like, I'm gonna go after the people that was investigating the January 6th people. It's crazy. Is this real right now? It's what we're doing.
I don't even know if that's going to pass, right? I don't know. He's saying that Joe Biden, the pardon wasn't right because he did it electronic, like his signature was electronic. He didn't sign it with his, bare hands. I have to think about all the people that Trump pardoned, all the January 6th people. You mean to tell me he signed each pardon by hand? Or did he use a registered signature? Because you can get your signature registered, right? And you can use an electronic signature like I have at work. I have an electronic signature. I have to enter in, I have a unique code associated to it, and I can electronically sign documents. I just have to draw my signature to write it in.
When he was doing those executive orders, when they were showing them, I think it was on TV or I was watching somewhere, and he was like here, and he was like signing it for the January 6th folks.
Yeah,
and he was like, had them. I want this immediately. Had him out by the morning or the night or something. He was saying
he didn't sign.
I guess that was just one signature. No, I guess it was that one for all of them.
I don't believe, but if your signature is registered, that's different. That means you can electronically. The courts would not accept something if it wasn't if it wasn't done within protocol, right? They wouldn't release prisoners and people out on the street if it wasn't.
Once again, we talking about Trump.
It's the highest form of government. They're not gonna just drop the ball and be like, "Oh, well, our bad. We didn't mean to sign it that way." Nah, all that
Well,
stuff
that
is
would
already
be, then that's going to be an issue, right? Because if you really look at it, right, if he wins this lawsuit or issue, that can be a domino effect, because now people are signing mortgage documents electronically. Is that signature no longer valid?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
I'm just saying, like, it could be people don't, I mean, because I work in a certain business, right? I
Yeah.
see these types of things all the time. So can they pull, don't act like people won't pull the same thing, right? That's not my signature. That's not,
tough.
you know what I mean? It should have
That's
been wet
tough.
ink. It was electronic, so it's not real. You know,
Yeah.
because that's what he's alleging. It should be wet ink signature and not electronic.
No,
And that's the reason why. And just imagine, you were out of jail in Parton January 18th,
get that
19th.
call back.
You did it around that time. Now you're going back in March.
I don't know.
What type of letter? The police coming to your house? I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got to do this.
Get that call back.
You got to go back, bro. What?
No.
And it was majority. A lot of them majority were Black and African American people and Hispanics, which is really sad. Speaking of more things that's happening as our world is changing. How do you feel about this? I want to say maybe last month or the month before, or maybe it was January when the president was elected. In Ohio, they had a neo-Nazi kind of like
yeah.
I don't want to call it
a rally,
but they had a rally.
Yeah.
So I think it was the expectation that Black people wouldn't know about it, or it was like an intimidation factor of them coming out. But the Black people in Ohio showed up and was like, "What's up?"
That the one they was on the bridge or somewhere, something like that, or
they
overpass?
They were somewhere.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. They were there. That was a part of it. There was a section of it where they were on an overpass waving the flags as cars drove under them.
Yeah, and the police didn't do anything about it when the Black people are like, "What are you going to do about this?" And the police was like, "We can't do anything."
This is another
a lot of Black people showed up like FAFO.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't back in the day. Like, we licensed too. What's that?
Yeah. We need that though. Like,
so now,
I'm all for that 100%.
They formed a group. I didn't get the name. I'll have to remind me, audience, to bring it back. But they are banding together and they're forming their own. I don't want to say Black Panther. I don't know, what their beliefs, but I have to say it's something similar, right? Because it's based on this whole neo-Nazi rally that was had.
It's basically their own community watch.
Yes, they're getting licensed. They're, I guess this was a different type rally because these neo-Nazis showed their actual faces. So now it's different.
Yeah, some of them did. Yeah.
Well,
there's a video of that, like a separate video of that same rally where there was a police officer that was escorting them out of a certain area. Like it was like he was helping them. But a lot of them, they're on that same side. They play for the same team.
Yes, that's one of the things we talked about in a different podcast. Remember, I said, Black people, we were struggling to get out and to make it, right? But we didn't think about some of the different, jobs and different organizations we could have joined, such as being police officers, of course, now you see Black police officers and attorneys, but that wasn't the ultimate goal, right? We didn't want to be a part of something that we feared. But now,
but that's what they get you, because they said if you want to make a change, you got to go be a part of it,
Yeah.
And now,
that's tough, man. It's tough.
Is they had a plan. They were like, we want to be able to abuse you Black people, so we're gonna join a police force so we can do it legally, right? We're gonna do that. We're gonna work at the prisons. We're gonna buy prisons, right? Private prisons, and put you in there, and we're just gonna keep you there. It's
because they say slavery never went away. It just rebranded.
Slavery never went away. No, and you touched on something, Larry, when you talk about how the white families, they raise their kids as being superior, right? As this is who you are, this is who we are, and this is who you'll always be. And you said, as Black people, Black people, we didn't really do that because we were surviving, right? We were around to survive and figure out a way, right? Out of no way. So this kind of stems back to I want to bring it back to the conversation of that of that star track, the Black athlete at the school.
Oh, yeah. What state was that? I can't remember the school.
I can't remember, but would you had transfer schools though because of that?
He's a star. He's a star athlete, right? And I guess he
baseball player.
He was he? I thought he ran track.
No, he's a baseball player.
Baseball. Yeah.
Okay, star. He was a star athlete, star baseball player.
Going to a prep school.
He ran really fast.
Yeah.
And on the website, I think they put it on the website or responded and said that the reason why is because he gained his feet running from the police.
Yeah, Iona prep. Yeah. So he left there and transferred and went back from a prep school to a public school.
Right.
Let's talk about that because we hear all the time, right? I'm going to put my kid in private school, or you hear about kids, going to school and there's not too many people that look like them, or some parents prefer to put their kids in, what they feel a predominantly white school. Is that harming the kid or making them better? Because
it's a hell of a gamble either way, because being a black parent that raised kids like either in an inner city school or whether you're out somewhere like in the country, but you want your kids to have a best education as safe as possible. You don't want to go to a school that's in a high crime rate area.
No.
However, when you want to try to put them in a better school, those schools are usually, they look a certain way, and they come with their own dangers, their own consequences as well. So yeah, there can be lots of traumas trying to put your black child into, a predominantly white school for a better education, because the mindset there is different. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some black kids who do fit in, and they kind of roll with the punches, though. They roll with the punches. But in this particular case that you're talking about, the young man was like, he caught a racist comment, and he was like, nah, not around here. I'm out. And I think he was raised right.
How he's raised. Also, I feel like social media plays a part in that, right? You're seeing that, you're seeing everything that's going on. You check the temperature, and he knew, like, oh, I'm out. I don't have to be here. Y'all wanted me. Y'all recruited me.
And I think the person, I guess the coach or whatever, he probably was just comfortable with the kid and thought he could say
it ain't
what
that
he
much
wanted to say.
in the world. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care if I was on the news running from the police, right? And that's how That's what I'm saying.
It's important for the parent too, because the parent could have easily been like, "No, you're gonna stay there, and you're gonna keep playing." You know what I mean? Because we work hard to put you in this school to get this type of prestige. But it takes a lot as a parent to be like, I don't want my child being disrespected, especially in this type of way. We're not gonna tolerate it. So it takes a strong mindset for the family.
So the kid now, he's a sophomore in Boston College. So that story was in 2021.
Yeah,
and he's now a sophomore in Boston College, which
good
is good
for him though, for stepping up.
Yeah, you got to.
Making that decision, whether it was his decision or his parents' decision, he still was like okay with it. Like, I'm going same for me. You, again, a lot of times when you're a star player, right, you're recruited by a lot of these. I mean, a lot of times parents do look at what's the best school, who's going to, where my kid, who's a star athlete, he's going to get the visibility, right, notoriety, because he's great, right? But also there's schools that are recruiting. So he could have been recruited from that school, and he was like, nah.
Yeah.
And for it to be that case, you had to think there had to be other issues. That was his boiling point.
Oh yeah.
You know
It
what I
wasn't
mean?
just that one thing. It probably was like, I saw some other stuff too. But this is
Right.
what
It was
broke the
probably
camel's
some
back.
other things that happened, and that was the last
Yeah.
straw. Like, nah,
Can't
So
do it,
how do y'all feel about parents putting their kids in private schools and versus keeping them in the regular public school? How do y'all feel about that? I know it's different as far as I guess special education.
I think it depends on the pros and the cons, man. And you really have to like sit down and weigh that out. Like that's why like real estate is heavily influenced on the school system. You know what I mean? Like when people go to buy a house, they got to check the school systems of that area. You know, so it really plays upon the pros and cons what you're looking for. Can you get what you can from this private school, or is it more cost effective to go to the public school? Usually the private school, people are already affluent and they're situated and they're trying to continue that, you know? Is it safe over here or what? I mean, I'm down for either one. I went to school in the public school, of course, because
and you turned out just fine, right?
I'm regular. I think going to a public
that's what
school
I always say. Yeah, that's what I always say. I mean, I've seen a lot of good kids come out of public schools and achieve. So
I went to a private school. It was all girls. I told my mom it was supposed to be Friday school. Went maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month. I told her, I was like, yo, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. I can't all girls school. Absolutely not. She said, you're not gonna waste my money. Off back to public school you go. It was no problem. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. So when we talk about private school versus, public school, do you think, the whole, is it kind of a bragging right? When you look at like luxury,
I look at that a lot.
Do you think it's one of those things where they feel it's a flex? Well, my kids go to private school and not public school. Like,
I think it's an unintentional flex.
Yeah, I don't even think it's no flex. I think some people just are afraid for their kids to go to maybe not afraid, but they just don't feel comfortable with their kids going to a regular public school.
Is it? Yeah. Or they've gotten a little bit more money in their pockets, so they are able to afford a public school. That leads to my question. Is luxury the new drug for Black people?
Ooh.
I don't think it's a new drug. I think it's been around for a while.
It's been around for a minute.
Private school flex, the cars, everybody on Instagram is rich, right? Everybody's going on vacations. They're, buying restaurants. They're, charging $40 at the door, $80 the park, $90 for lamb chops, $100 for, a drink, a Hennessy, a Hen and Coke.
For me, it's a little bit out of the box. And I don't think specifically it's luxury. Luxury is like the byproduct. It's the symptom of it. It comes out of being flashy, being braggadocious. Like, I got this. I've been working on this. I've been hustling hard for this. Like whether it's something material or something that you can just show off that nobody else got it. It just happens to be luxury. I'll pay, $3,000 for Balenciaga XYZ. Don't matter. Even though that's stupid, it's fiscally irresponsible.
Right.
But what do you get out of it? You get the bragging rights to say, I have this
picture on Instagram.
Yeah. I have this, or a knockoff bag or something. Like it's I hate that. So
much. I've seen people drive cars that they couldn't afford.
That's happening right now.
Oh yeah,
upside down on the pavements. Yeah.
Man, don't get me started. It's one of those things now, with everything going on, we talk Black luxury and they feel like, benefiting and everything. And we're talking about, Trump being an opportunist and all of these companies removing DEI and, the unknown of schooling, right? The Department of Education. We don't know any of those things. How do you feel about a lot of these colleges, that prestigious colleges, offering free tuition to people?
Like, is that something recent or something that's been going on? Is it something recent?
So recently, Harvard decided that they're going to offer free tuition for families that make under $200K a year.
Oh man, I haven't heard that. I got to look into that because
Hmm.
Harvard is a legacy school. It's deemed one of those legacy schools.
Yes, Michelle
Yeah,
Obama went to Harvard, or did she go to
right.
Princeton? No, she went to Princeton, I
I
think.
ain't heard
Yeah.
about that.
I mean, I think that's good, long as there's like no strings attached to it. Of course.
I'm sure they
Yeah.
have to meet their, the expectation, of getting into
Yeah.
school. Probably, I'm sure it's going to be SAT involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, grades,
But
GPA.
let's hope. Let's hope. It's more based on grade merit and not
Yeah,
the.
but because it also, you got to think that's a lot of families under 200K. That's a lot of families if
Yeah.
you look at what is deemed middle class,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look at what is
The
deemed
low
middle,
middle class. The low
She
middle class.
she she went to Princeton and Harvard.
Yeah.
I knew it. I read her book.
Princeton,
Hmm.
Harvard,
And she's an
Yale, all those
Aquarius.
legacy schools, man. It's
And
crazy.
Obama went to Harvard.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be good if they implemented something like that. To help the families that academically can make it through, but just can't pay for it. You know.
Or would it be like your tuition is paid for, but you have to cover room and board? Room and board can end up being more expensive or just as expensive
Yeah.
as
Oh yeah.
tuition, really.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
But
I
do you
wouldn't
think it's
know.
going to be a quota? I mean, a certain amount of people, like they're only going to let 30 people in, or 150, because that.
Yeah, they got to put there got to be a cap on it somewhere.
So
Mhm.
is it only Harvard that's doing this?
Right now, I know it's Harvard, but I do know it's a lot of like community. I want to say state, or there's some schools around here that offer free tuition or reduced tuition. I know UNCG offers reduced tuition.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I mean, you can obtain your associate's degree in high school now, which does take away a lot of the burden from parents, right? Because that means you only have 2 years or maybe 3 years of paying for college left, or 2 years if they excel.
Yeah.
Which takes away the additional 2 years or 4 years that you would be paying for. So I think now a lot of these kids and parents are allotted things that we were not provided for.
I think a lot of that stuff, it's going to come to a head. And what I mean by that is, like, going to 4-year college is starting to change. Because now you got micro degrees. You can get some jobs are more focused on certifications because you have
Right.
to renew those on specific times.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, it's expensive to go to a 4-year college, and I think that's changing. And you have a lot of multimillionaires and billionaires who talk about how traditional school is a waste. Elon is one of those people that's like, oh, you can learn everything on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't go to
yeah.
college.
Yeah, I feel like that erases a lot of our culture and what we how we were raised, right? If we say, hey, there's no need for you to go to school, we know that this world currently is making it hard for us to live and to exist. So why not take advantage of a lot of these opportunities, especially if it's free to do so? Because really, they probably don't want us there anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you.
So it's like parents going to have to make a tough decision. Yeah, you don't want to pay for school if your kid isn't really into it, but what's going to be next for them the way this world is going?
Yeah, they at
Because
least got to have
everything Trump is undoing. How long is it going to take for the next president to come in and undo everything that he undid or tried to put in place and do it? It's not going to be a fast task like he's doing it now because he has the Supreme Court in his pocket, right? The next president is not going to have all that. It's still going to be a fight no matter what. So it's going to be years down the line before we get it back to where it really should.
Years.
So Trump, so he not doing
take like a decade.
So he's not doing 3 terms.
Hey, he trying, bro. He trying. Hey, I was saying earlier, I think
that's crazy.
Trump is trying to be a king,
Look, I was telling Larry earlier, I'm glad when all this is over with. I don't want to rush it, but
yeah,
it's a lot. I think we do because I feel like January was a year. Like it was a year.
That's because it's something every day. Imagine going through something. What, we almost 3.5 months in, and you're going through something significant every day. That causes PTSD right there. Your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight or freeze, like all the time. And like when people were put on notice for their government jobs, they didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow. Now you just on high alert with no type of guidance.
Imagine being let go. Imagine being let go at 10 or 12 o'clock at night via email.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a wrap. What you gonna do? Don't know.
Imagine being rehired on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. at night via email.
Yeah. And there was so many people. I remember when a lot of this shit started happening, when they were putting the word out about shrinking the government, there was a lot of people in DC were selling their houses between DC and Maryland and Virginia and all that area up there. Like a lot of them were putting their houses on the market, trying to get up out of there fast. It's probably still like that now, to be honest. Because if you feel like, okay, I'm getting fired, I need to sell my house, take all I have, all that equity in there because I need to live off that. I need to survive off that because I got fired before I could retire. If people fell into that.
Equity, because a lot of them are federal employees now. Think about it. If everybody's selling their house, how much equity are you getting?
Yeah, that market is saturated. Yeah, it's saturated.
Oversaturated.
It's tough. But that was some people's option. Like I gotta sell my house and move back to whatever my home state is because it's cheaper there.
I get it. I mean,
most people came down south.
Trust me, I get it. I've been laid off twice, and I have to weigh my options. Like, what can I afford? With this unemployment, if I get a part-time job, those are definitely things that you have to think about. But I would stand. Stay the course. As you can see, it's working out in your favor. People are getting their jobs back.
Yeah, for some of them. Some of them already gone, yo. Like a lot of people have already. And I think that could have been part of the plan too. We're gonna lay these people off, even though we can't probably do it, can't legally do it. But then we're gonna ask them back. Not everybody's gonna come back.
Are you gonna give 100%? Are they gonna be able to give you 100%? Now they're gonna be on high alert.
And you know what? One of the craziest things is people was talking about how good Trump was for the economy.
Yeah. It's been red, bro.
When? Like right now?
No, before when he was running.
His first term.
Because he waited to sign them checks personally for all them people who thought it was from him.
And his first term, and then even when this one before, while he was running, a lot of people talking about how good he was for the economy. But
now they're mad.
Phew.
I just hope that they remember this when it comes to election season. This man, I know it won't happen, but this man literally took away from your livelihood.
Yeah. No matter how you slice it, man, them people are still on the Trump train. Like
every time I hear, do y'all see that on Instagram? Is Latinos for Trump? And every time they upset, they play this video of this band that was singing at a Trump conference.
Oh man,
nah, I ain't see that.
Dang,
it's the funniest video. Anywho,
and it's crazy because, for me personally, I'm not saying I'm bashing Trump because I don't really care that much, but you cannot ignore what's happening. You see it. I'm not on the corner protesting Trump this, Trump that, but it's the stuff he's doing publicly out in front of everybody. It's come on.
I think they're possibly upset that Black people saw this coming.
Oh yeah, of course.
Especially the 92%. The 92% saw this coming.
You believe who's upset that Black saw it coming?
I mean, the people that are upset now, like the Latinos, and all you hear is, we didn't know. We didn't believe you. We didn't know because, again, white supremacy and their close proximity to white people, they probably believe in a hierarchy.
And
they like they like to be dictated. They like to be told what to do.
That side of the playing field
saw it coming.
Yeah, and Latinos are getting it rough right now because of the mass deportations. That's a whole different can of worms.
And they're upset with us. You see that on TikTok? They're upset with Black women. Some of the white women, that got their, some of their liberties taken away, and Latinos, they want the black people to come and stand up, and we like, yo, we told you, we saw you. 52% saw it coming.
Hey, I be seeing them in the comments. The black people be like, "Hey, I'm about to go to the store. Y'all want something?" So I be seeing it in the comments.
And they're mad. Like, they've been doing TikTok videos. It's all over, YouTube. When I watch it, like, this one guy talks so bad about black people, and he was all for Trump. Then, his mother got deported. Now he's like, how come the black people, we need to come together? And they keep they keep tagging him in his old video. It's like,
damn, that's rough. That's rough. Well, that's one way to go viral.
That is rough.
This white mega lady, now how come you guys aren't standing with us? We want to be united. They keep showing her video with her little MAGA hat on. Nonsense.
Hey.
But he still got some black people.
Oh yeah, he's still
fighting for Trump.
You saw all the blacks at the White House. I saw something that was most disheartening. Iconic Beauty, the black owned beauty supply store on
Is that they do?
Alexander.
No, I ain't seen that.
They was at the Trump conference. Just
damn.
No, I didn't see that.
Hey, you get what you pay for.
Anyways, speaking of, before we leave, how's the boycott been going for you guys outside of Leon? Because Leon still goes to Target.
Which boycott? The Target boycott.
I mean the Amazon. I moved on to Amazon. Target. I still haven't been back. Target is, I don't even notice them. Amazon right now.
Shit, I haven't gotten anything off Amazon.
I don't remember. Target is the only one I really know that was on the list.
Amazon is on the list.
Target,
Amazon, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. Remember we went over the list? TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods. We're not doing it.
Costco's was the only one we was rooting for, apparently. So.
Yes, Costco. We're rooting for Costco. Wegmans. We're rooting for Wegmans.
Oh, I haven't been to a Wegmans. I got to check.
We are Nordstrom Rack. For those who want to know. Kroger, if it's in your area.
Walmart was on the list too. Walmart was on the list too. I think Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. But we're mostly hurt by Target. Target made a promise and they didn't live up to the promise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they feeling it.
Amazon, we can't, because we already knew about him. We knew about Jeff Bezos. We ignored it because he made it very convenient for us. But I've been doing really good. I almost slipped up. But I've been doing really good.
You almost went to Target or Amazon?
I haven't been to Target since January 26th.
Yeah. You almost went to Amazon and got something?
No, I almost went to Walmart to grab something because they have something particular that I love. But
So did you find it somewhere else?
Yeah. I went to Wegmans. Wegmans is a little overwhelming for me. But I'm gonna keep going until it's just, the rooster, the choo-choo train, the kids crying, the people talking. There's just so much going on in one grocery store.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is a lot of people in there.
The rooster, the choo-chooing around the store. I walked in there one day and walked out. Like, I was like, I can't.
Too much stimulation.
Guess what, y'all? Guess what? I forgot to tell the people about my 20% sale. Early spring sale. impelfortmerch.com, impelfortmerch.com. 20% early spring sale.
There you go,
people,
bro.
we gonna get him one of these days to post his, his merch. People would like to see it.
Yeah.
I'll give me a commercial one day.
You can change your tagline and put your 20% off Impel merch.
Yeah. Yes, dude. Is it a coupon code or is it automatically a checkout?
Oh, do I got it? No, it's automatic checkout. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
We love a good discount.
Yeah, 20% off. Yeah.
A good discount. I have to go and get some t-shirts. Well, that's all I have. We went through the list. This was amazing.
For sure.
Good, because when y'all was sending the list, I was working. I was like, man, I ain't got time to look over nothing.
We got
That's because me and Larry be more. We the most active in the group chat.
I'll be. Look, sometimes I don't be going off. I'll be cutting my phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's Renee.
Don't care. Y'all ping when I be in meetings. I still look at it.
But But you can look. I can't look and read and cut at the same time.
Yeah, you're right.
Very true. It don't matter. You can look after, catch up.
But, I'll be having so much to do after that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been good. Until the next time. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the MPL4 podcast. Still trying to reach 500 subscribers. All right. There you have it for another episode of the MPL4 podcast. And remember, seize the opportunity to grasp your dreams.
All right.